What's up, everybody? Clinton Foshee here, and
I'm Albert Chavez.
And today we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Steve Somerman, my favorite black belt out there. Been not only instrumental to me on the mats, but off the mats as a father figure. And, I truly appreciate you, and I'm glad to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on. How's the arm healing?
It's healing pretty good. It's added. I just another strike mark to the surgeries. I think. Let's see. I got 3 here, 2. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. It's about 12th or 13th. You just basically, they call me the Bionic Man. Just patch me up and put me back on the mat. I'll figure it out.
And still the toughest tap I know.
Appreciate that.
So we wanted to get to know a little bit about you and then kind of talk about your jiu-jitsu journey. So tell us, where are you originally from?
Chicago. Born in Chicago, lived in Skokie, Illinois.
Sweet.
Beautiful.
Sweet.
Yeah. What was it like growing up there for people that are on the West Coast?
Well, Skokie at the time was the largest village in the United States. It wasn't a city. It was called a village. And at the time, there was about 60,000 people in Skokie.
That's a big village.
And I lived across the street from a huge park that had a swimming pool, and in the winter had an ice skating rink, and based in a basketball court. So basically, my backyard was the park, and it was great growing up. I mean, it was fun, albeit outside of the parenting issue. I loved it there. It was great, and I made a lot of friends, had a lot of fun. It helped me get in shape and focus on things, and it was good. It was good, but it was also good to get out of there after graduating college and working in Chicago as a maitre d' for Arnie Morton of Morton's Restaurant fame. I drove my grandparents' car to Arizona in Tucson right after I ran the first Mayor Daily Marathon. And I ran that marathon in 3 hours and 28 minutes, by the way.
That's fast.
Which was pretty good for not running a marathon before.
Yeah,
but
that's really good.
But I went and I got to Tucson, and I looking around, and I'm single. I'm 24 years old, and all I see is all these gorgeous girls with blonde hair and short shorts, and I'm like, I think I want to live here. So basically, I basically literally drove the car out, stayed there for a couple days, flew back, resigned my position as the maitre d' of Eugene's Bon Petit for Gene Sage. I was also the maitre d' of the pump room at the time, and drove my Toyota Tercel to Arizona and started from scratch.
Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. That's cool. Just like you were just like on a whim, like, hey, I'm tired of living in Chicago, like outside of
it. Was just coming out here. It was like an epiphany.
Yeah.
I just need to be here.
And blonde hair and short shorts get you everything.
Yeah,
I can vouch.
I know you can vouch for that. I mean, next to Nick Cannon, you're a close second, man.
I'm a professional baby maker.
That's so funny. So, obviously, you have jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. Did you always have sports growing up? That was like your backbone.
Philippe, but Clinton knows my story. When I was born, I had a lack of oxygen, so my eye center and my collapsed. So I had surgeries as a baby for my eyes, and then I had to my legs were deformed, and I had to wear leg braces for 3 years to get my legs to straighten out. I grew up in grade school being nicknamed Fat Boy.
Oh wow!
I weigh less now than I did when I was 12 years old. Wow. And I mean, I was bullied, I was harassed, and back then bullying was way different than it is today. I mean, you were bullied.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I got into high school, and it wasn't until I was a sophomore when we got a new football coach for the varsity that my life started to change. And when I was a junior, this football coach basically taught me that I need to take control of my destiny, and only I can make changes to my life And I went from like 170 pounds as a sophomore down to 160 as a junior. I remember running, that was when they had the President Kennedy physical fitness program back then. I mean, we're talking a long time ago. And I remember running the 600-yard dash in 2 minutes and 42 seconds as a sophomore.
Wow.
And as a junior, I ran it in a minute and 40.
Oh, wow.
So I basically got in shape. And I learned that either I control my own destiny or I let other people do it. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to take charge of my life. Went on to play college football after high school and then got into powerlifting. Had a powerlifting career that lasted from 1971 until about 2006. Won a lot of national championships, was an American record holder at 50. I squatted 424 pounds at 140-pound body weight.
Crazy.
So, you know, I've been an athlete my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite all the beginning challenges.
And then I couldn't compete at a high level in powerlifting anymore. And then my wife, Mimi, said, hey, did you see there's a jiu-jitsu academy opened up by the chiropractor's office? I go, really? She goes, why don't you and Mason go take a look? And that was in Mission Viejo. It was called Gracie Barra Saddleback. And I walked in and I met this guy named Felipe de la Monica. And he goes, hey, welcome. You want to come jiu-jitsu? Yeah, you can take an intro class. See if you like it. Okay, fine. We took an intro class and signed up right then and there. And I was addicted. Mason was addicted. Through his high school and even college, he did jiu-jitsu. He would go to jiu-jitsu at 5:30 in the morning when he held his 5:30 classes in high school. And then when he was in college, he'd finish 2 hours of football practice in the afternoon, and he'd go to Anna Laura's school in Upland and train for another hour and a half at night.
Yeah, she's a beast too. Yeah.
And you know, so he knew what he wanted to do when he was 15, and I'm not going to stop him from it. You know, so it was cool. So here we are 14 years and 4 months later, and still on the mat, still going strong, still loving it, enjoying every minute of what jiu-jitsu and the foundation of jiu-jitsu did to change not only my life, but my son's life and my family's life. It's been a really growth experience.
Wow.
Because jiu-jitsu is not just a martial art. It's a lifestyle. And it teaches you respect. It teaches you humbleness. It teaches you self-control, as well as it teaches you technique and how to defend yourself.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And the culture, we spoke about this before, but the culture with Gracie Barra specific, because I've trained at some other places as well, but the culture within Gracie Barra as a whole, but especially the culture that Felipe de la Monica has created at his gym it's a family.
It's over the top crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a family as opposed to just like a gym that you go to and you just hang out and train.
Yeah.
Like,
when you go to that academy on a Monday night and there's 60 guys on the mat with you, you know that there's something special going on.
yeah.
Okay. When you sit there and have a Thanksgiving or a Labor Day or a Christmas Eve early morning class at 9 or 10 in the morning, and you got an hour class and then another hour of live training and sparring, and 60, 70, 80 people show up, black belts from all over show up, you know you're at a place that's something special.
Right.
And then, of course, you know, we talked about it. Not only that, but the MMA guys that train there, I mean, you know, Rafael dos Anjos, TJ Gillisaw, Juan Archuleta, Danny Argueta, Neiman Gracie, the list goes on and on and on. It's crazy over there because you're watching some of the best fighters in the world, all right, in this sport. And it's like, wow, I'm around these guys. And then you get to roll with them. Whew, it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah. I would say, you know, a lot of people make the analogy jiu-jitsu saved their life, but I know for me, and I know because we've talked about it too, jiu-jitsu has really changed my life in such a great way. I can't even put into words. And I always knew it, but coming off of, my car wreck and not being able to train for 3 years,
Right.
My memory, I've had a lot of different health issues from that wreck, but the worst part of all of it is not being able to train and be around I call you guys my brothers and sisters. And so
your family.
That's what I'm saying. Not being able to be around that has been the hardest thing for me to overcome.
Well, right now, I mean, not being on the mat for 4-6 weeks right now, and knowing I'm not going to be on the mat for another 6 to 8 weeks, I'm going batshit crazy sometimes.
Not being able to move. Yeah, do you still go at least and just?
I'm going to start going next week. I've stayed away because I wanted to get this taken care of, and there was a vacation and some work things that got interrupted it. And if I show up, I want to show up on a consistent basis, and then go to the other side and just do exercises up and down the mat and just start getting myself into jiu-jitsu shape once I can get this thing off. And start moving my arm again. Yeah, but it's the culture that's been created at Gracie Barra under Felipe de la Monica, notwithstanding there's other great schools that I've been to and had been accepted with open arms. I mean, Christian Grande in Hawaii, in Maui, he's got a Carlson Gracie school, and every time we go to Hawaii every year and we go to Maui, and I train with him and his people, and they opened their arms up to me very nicely. I've also been to other schools where they weren't so nice, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what to expect when you walk into an academy that's not yours, and how you can just get a feel for how you're going to be treated, and you just kind of deal with it. But the other cool part about it is with almost 2,000 schools internationally. When we went to London, I trained at Gracie Barra in London.
Wow.
When in Hawaii, there is a Gracie Barra in Maui now. I can train there if I want to. But when I travel and there's not a Gracie Barra, which is rare, it's still a cool experience.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I had a specific question. So I know jiu-jitsu has been a part of your life. What valuable lesson have you learned about yourself since joining BJJ?
Self-control.
Yeah.
Being a nicer person. Being accountable for my actions. I was a hothead, and it was easy for me to sit there and yell and scream and lose it. And I would do it on purpose because I just wanted to do it, Mm-hmm. And I realized that's stupid. And I've learned, I mean, my wife would tell you that what I've learned in 14 years of being around Philippe and being around these guys and being humbled and also being successful and being the student and the teacher, I tell people life's not about winning and losing. It's about winning and learning. There's no losing, okay? If you want to say you lost in your mind, that's fine. But in my mind, it's about learning. It's about what mistakes that you make and what you can do from those mistakes to make yourself a better person. So it's taught me to be a more gracious individual. There's 4 things I live by in my life right now, only because of my age. I'm 72. And what I do at 72-year-olds do not do, by the way. Very few, okay? But, wake up every morning with a positive attitude. I have gratitude, and I'm grateful for the ability to do what I need to do and the people that I get to be around and surround myself with. From a work perspective, I live in a meritocracy. It's not my successes from 20 years ago. It's what I'm doing today. Mm-hmm. And the most important one is relevant. I want to be relevant. I'm relevant in work. I'm relevant in the Gracie Barra family because I'm the poster child for jiu-jitsu over 60. I mean, they made me that. I didn't ask for it, but they gave me that opportunity when Flavio Almeida used my likeness in advertising jiu-jitsu for people over 60 years old. And then they did that video last year with Vitor, and here I am 71 years old, and I'm telling my little jiu-jitsu jury in a one minute Instagram pitch, and next thing you know, there's 50,000 views, and I'm like, holy crap, it went viral.
That's cool.
So I know that I have a level of accountability in which makes me want to be on the mat, which is why I want to be on the mat, because when I can get off the mat with a guy that's 30 years my junior and maybe 20, 30 pounds heavier, and we went 6 minutes, and maybe he scored more points than me, but he didn't tap me out. I go, hey, I'll see you in 41 years.
Yeah.
And then they go, gosh.
They can't even fathom that.
They can't even fathom that, So it's fun for me.
Yeah.
And that's the relevancy that I think a lot of people our age need to have as a mindset. It's better than sitting on a couch drinking beers and watching golf.
I can't even imagine doing that.
I'd go, I can't. I won't. I'm not built that way. He knows I got a home gym. I don't have any excuses,
Yeah, no doubt.
That's crazy to me too. Is like, because what I got out of it is that no matter, like, you're always adapting. Even like you talk about in your early childhood how like bullying was a part of it because of your early health conditions, but that didn't stop you. And then that one coach that really set you apart. That's really powerful too. Is like you didn't just hone and just hold on to the things that you wore in your past. I feel like a lot of times it can be easy to get stuck in a rut, especially when you're younger and you're trying to figure out who you want to be and what that means and what that defines you and stuff like that. Was there, you said you got into powerlifting and stuff like that too, even despite all your health injuries, was there, and then you played football in college, like how did you eventually like flip that switch to be like, I don't need to be that old person that just doesn't want to be motivated anymore,
His name is Jim Harkema. He was my high school football coach. And the 30-second story is we were lining up in practices, and I was holding the dummy as the offensive line was coming and running the drill, and this guy who was an offensive tackle was supposed to pull and then come around and hit me, and he tapped me, and next thing you know, I'm sitting there holding this, and coach goes, run it again. So he's running it again, and I'm just sitting there thinking, okay, here he's just going to tap me, and he just hit me so hard. I did a backflip and landed on my back.
Oh, shoot.
And I immediately started to cry because it hurt and I was mad. And then the coach grabbed me because we're going over to the football field to run kickoffs. And he grabbed my face mask. We could do it back in the day.
Yeah.
Grabbed the face mask, the old Hayes, old school, He says, you want to be a football player? I go, uh-huh. He goes, I want to put you on that line. I want you to tackle the guy with the ball. Can you do that? I go, uh-huh. And he goes, well, then go ahead and do it. I was so angry and so filled with rage. I went down that field time and time again and got to the ball.
First, yeah.
Okay. And that's the day I grew up and realized, and to your point, I'm going to take control of my life. I'm not going to let other people tell me what I can and can't do. And don't tell me I'm too small to play football, which coach did when I was a senior. It was too bad he's still a little small to play college football, but Stevie Somerman, blah, blah, blah. And he knew when he said that I would sit there and go, oh yeah, watch me. And that's the mentality I've had since I was like 17 years old. I've had to learn a lot of lessons along the way, but I never, from that point on, never lost that thirst of don't tell me what I can't do. I will do what I know I can do. And some of the things that I've done are, in some circles remarkable, but that's okay. And I don't really talk about them a lot, but we're here talking about them. But they formed the foundation of who I wanted to be as a person, both from work, relationships, activities, having children, how to treat others. I may have gone through a lot of life changes.
I know for me, one of 1,000 reasons of why I've always had respect for you is just that, and knowing deeper into your story, that won't give up mindset and attitude. And it doesn't matter whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's life. We've had deeper level conversations,
Right.
or whether it was about lending, which we'll get into later. But like everything that you do, there's always, and I've called you at times and been like, hey, I've got this, this, and this going on. And you're like, okay, this is what I've had go on. This is what you kind of, don't worry about it, this, and this. And so for me, you've always had that attitude, and that legacy that you've passed down has been very beneficial, whether you know it or not.
Appreciate that.
To a lot of people, and helped a lot of people. So, I appreciate you for, always being there.
Well, that's the gratitude part. To be able to pass on your life lessons to other people where they won't make a mistake because they sat down with you and you told them about something, or you've kind of coached them up on it. It's my responsibility to do it. It's just it's who I am. It's my responsibility to talk to Clinton and go over an issue that he has in his life, because I've maybe had the same situation or a similar situation, or sharing the mat with somebody and telling them, it's okay, and take that winning and learning mentality into your life, rather than we have a choice. We can pass on our lessons in life to others to learn from us and be acknowledged as somewhat leaders, okay? Or we can hold it in and not share it and watch people fail when they don't have to. I choose to sit there and go out there on a limb and teach people and help them, because I think it's my responsibility to do it. I've learned a lot of lessons. I mean, Clinton knows, married 3 times, the life lessons you learn from that alone was a lot. And then dealing with it, and then finding the one that I've been with, Mimi, who was just on the phone, but the love of my life. We've been together 22 years, and I don't think I would have been able to make the 22 years had it not been for lifestyle changes and mental changes that I had to make. And jiu-jitsu is one of the huge parts of why a lot of those changes got made. It calmed me down.
Wow.
How,
let me ask you this. How has your training style changed over the years?
From jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Well, I think every individual has their own story. And when you walk in the door, you better leave your ego at the door. Okay. Because that's number one. Okay. And then number 2, you got to stick it out. But I was basically, at first I was using my strength, because I had some strength back then.
Yeah.
That I don't have now. And then I learned, as my strength diminished, to start using technique in my brains. And then until I was a brown belt, all I worked on was defending myself. Defend. I really wasn't offensive in my game until I got to be a brown belt. And you're talking about getting a brown belt. I mean, that's going, 5, 6, 7 years into the jiu-jitsu journey before you even start thinking about being offensive and starting attacking people. But now I defend myself and look for the attack, because I know what I can do, and I know what mistakes people might make for somebody like me. Mm-hmm. And the fact that my game is very, and Clinton will tell you, I'm very slow, I'm very methodical,
calculated, I'm
very technical, and I'm very calculating. And I've learned if I'm giving you something, it's because I know I'm going to get something that I want to get, And if you're lucky enough to get me, great. But if you don't, then here I come. So my game has transitioned from the defense to the, not too much the offensive side, but playing it probably a good 50-50 were before it was like 90-10.
That's incredible too, especially that seems like a common pattern with more guys that we've talked to is like as you progress throughout your career, whether it's jiu-jitsu, MMA, you have to really like understand your body's there, but your mind's got to be fresh the entire time. So you have to change the way that you establish yourself and dominate, because there's going to be guys that are younger, faster, stronger, right? And so the only way you can compete is like, hey, I've seen this thousands of times, and at this point, I know what you're going to do and anticipate it. So you have to slowly and methodically move. And someone like me, that's my issue, is like being still, being small, being slow, and seeing those minor movements. And you know it.
When I slow people down, I make them play my game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play their game.
Yeah.
I mean, I got great cardio. I can go, a competition class, I'll go 2 hours. No big deal. But I'm not going to sit there and play the fast, agile game that like Mason plays, all right? Or that Philippe plays, or that Johnny Anderson plays, okay, when they're on the mats. It's not my game. My game, I'll take it step by step, take my time, back and forth, breathe, look for the opening, maybe take it, maybe not take it, give something up to see where he's going to go. Only because sometimes I want to educate them, and I'm like, like they have me on my side, and they're trying to take my back when all you do is take your left leg and put it over and take the arm bar and you're done. Yeah. It's like, why are you trying to get something when the other thing is right there in front of you?
Yeah.
So to me, it's fun. It's a fun chess game now. In the beginning, it was difficult. And then as you learn and develop your own way of defending yourself and developing what your game is offensively and defensively, you learn, if you're smart, to make sure people play into your game, that you're not playing into their game.
Yeah, that's incredible. You mentioned right before we went live about the specialty in your relationship with Mason and doing jiu-jitsu together. Can you tell us a little bit more about like how that's allowed for you and him to bond, and then also that one moment of sharing like when he got his black belt too?
Yeah, well, I think to coach your kids is one thing, and I coached Mason in Little League and Pop Warner football and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But when he got into the jiu-jitsu part of it, we started together, it really began to form a bond, because I was committed to doing it, whether he was going to do it or not, but he was committed to doing it. So as his commitment to it grew, so did my commitment to him grow. And it's a funny story, but when he got into high school and we were in jiu-jitsu, I would text him every day, because he was at that time still kind of living with his mom 4 days a week and me 3 days a week. Of course, the minute I started getting him into athletics and sports, that turned into me 6 days a week and maybe her one. But and that worked out well too, because I planned it that way. But I became the responsible dad to sit there and make sure that my son knew that I loved him and that I cared about him and that I wanted him to be successful and achieve whatever goals he wanted to achieve. And the jiu-jitsu basically grew from the opportunity. I texted him every day, and I would just say, have a great day, have good football. I'll see you this afternoon, or let me know, call me when you get home and see your mom. And did that through high school, texted him through college. And here he is now being the director at Gracie Barra headquarters, along with Aubrey, which basically the three of them are running the show.
Yeah.
And there isn't a night that goes by, except for maybe Sunday, that he doesn't call me and tell me what's going on. Every night. Hey, Dad. Hey, Mace, how was work today? How was jiu-jitsu? Did you train? Did you not train? How were your classes? What'd you learn? Did you have fun? There isn't anything, he knows there's nothing he can come to me with that I probably have not experienced myself and that I'll give him advice on or embrace and say, it's okay, we'll figure it out. And there's been some kind of weird stuff, but, I'm not going to get into that. But he knows that I am there for his support. And I love him dearly. And the relationship we have is unbreakable. It's unbreakable. We are so close. And I still want him to develop his freedom, which he does. He lives out of the house now, and he's living with his brother. And yet he knows that if there's an issue or there's a problem or something's not working right, that he can come to me and I'm going to help him out. I'm going to help him out. And that bond that we developed in the last 14 years, if you're a parent, you're listening to me right now, and you want to share a relationship with your child, whether it be a boy or a girl, I'll tell you what, you start sharing the mats together and watch them as a kid, and then they get their blue belt and you get to be on the mat with them, and then you train with them. But then you get to the point where we're 14 years down the road, and it took me 9 years to get my black belt, and then another 5 years of training, and then there you are in December of last year, and Mason getting his black belt. I was so proud, and he gave a great speech, and he gave a lot of credit to the people that were not me, but other people that deserve the recognition of his journey along with me. And the day we did line up for the first time as black belts, I cried. I couldn't help it. It was like, I'm just so proud of him, and he's living his dream. He's doing what he wants to do. And like I told you, Fabone said, you realize how many black belt father and sons line up in a line together? Because like 1%, it doesn't happen. Consider yourself special. I go, I don't think I'm special. He says, well, what you and Mason have is special. And you know what? That's what fathers and their kids can create, or moms and their kids can create if they choose to. Mm-hmm. And that kind of a sport where your kid can grow into doing it with you rather than you watching them do it, it's a whole different dynamic.
Completely.
And the relationship that grows from that dynamic when you can start sharing the mat with them, wow. It's a wow moment. I mean, I know you're looking forward to it in the future.
Yeah, I am. And you know,
it's a wow moment.
You said something though that I want to correct you on. When you said you weren't special, for you to do the things you do and be able to create that type of environment for your son to feel loved, feel wanted, feel needed, and all of those things that we probably didn't get as a kid. For you,
oh yeah,
we've had this deeper level conversation.
Oh yeah,
but for you to, rather than being selfish and go a separate way and make it about you and make it about, this pissing contest, for you to give that safe space, whether it be jiu-jitsu, whether it be problems, any of those things, in my book, besides jiu-jitsu, besides any of the other stuff, makes you a legend in my eyes, because you've been through a lot and you chose to be a good father and a good person and a good human being. And so for me, you're not just a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but in life.
Oh,
I want to correct you. So to me, you are very special. Oh. And I know you're special to a lot of people.
I know that, but I learned that it's more important to be humble and respectful.
Yeah.
And I'll let other people tell that story. I don't have to tell it.
Yeah.
It's self-said, and whether it be, Haas, who just opened up Pasadena, or Mike Lee, who just opened up in Murrieta, or Diogo, who opened up in Aliso a couple years ago. Yeah, I know I've impacted their lives.
Yeah.
You know, I've given them some direction in what perseverance and persistence is all about. At somebody my age, when I get to meet their parents.
Yeah.
And their parents are my age.
And then they're like, what? You're doing that?
And they're not doing what I'm doing. It's kind of a cool thing. It is kind of a cool thing. But I've learned to stay within myself, and for Mason to develop his individuality and be the person that he is. It's because he chose to go that route. Yeah, I kind of pushed him along, but he's the one that made the final decisions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's the one that grew up to do what he's doing and being respected by parents and kids alike without me having to say anything, you know? And just to have him talk to me every night is kind of a cool thing. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not many fathers and sons always have that too, and it's special when it comes along too, because clearly you're going above and beyond, and
Well,
to see him want
To
to
Clinton's
be there.
point, Clinton knows I did not have that kind of relationship with my father.
Yeah, did that impact the way that you wanted to,
Yeah.
father?
I basically, I am not going to be my dad.
Yeah,
Okay. No disrespect, but just wasn't going to do it
yeah,
because that was not a fun time. Not for me, not for my brother, not for my sister.
yeah. I mean, me and him talk a lot too, because I'm getting closer with my dad over the last couple of years, and
Yeah.
I've heard his stories of his father too, and it's interesting, like the generations that you guys are going through. It seems like there's a desire for wanting to be better than what you were given on a general landscape, right? And it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's cool to watch and witness, because
Yeah, I
it
mean,
benefits my
If
generation
my
too.
father did today what he did in the 60s, he'd be in jail.
Yeah,
He would. I mean, just, you know, I don't need to go into it, but
Yeah.
he'd be in jail.
yeah,
It's just not normal behavior.
Yeah.
And I learned from that. But, you know, I basically, and it was Mimi that helped me too. She goes, don't raise a hand to your kid. Talk to him. Let him figure it out. Okay, yeah, I'll scream a little bit, but don't raise a hand to your kid. You're not going to get any. What do you get out of it? Gratitude? Feel good about it? You know, you walk away feeling satisfied? No, you walk away feeling guilty, and you feel bad, and you cry because you shouldn't have done it in the first place. So no, don't raise your hand to your kid. There's better ways to sit there and raise your child and educate them than to be a bully.
yeah.
It's crazy. We just had this conversation.
Oh, really?
On the way here, and I
Yeah.
was talking about me as a parent, and kind of similar to what you just said in dealing with my kids. And somebody said I coddle my kids, and I said it's not that I coddle my kids. I know what it was to get beat, right? And so
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to, and not that I'm saying, you know, people that spank their kids, you know, whatever everybody chooses is their own choice.
Right.
I'm just saying for me now, I choose to try to talk to my kids and help them work through their emotions rather than just spanking them or, you know, yelling and freaking out. And it makes a big difference, but it comes from my upbringing. And so every time I look at my kids, I see now, whereas before I did not, now I look at my kids as the 7-year-old me that wanted somebody to love me and protect me and be there for me. So
Yeah, it's funny. One of the little things that I did with Mason when he was a kid that I didn't do with my girls, because again, you learn when you get along. I would tell Mason, you need to do this, Mason, right? No, say yes. No, say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I did that for so many years that basically it became an anchor. So when I told Mason something, I go, you got it? He goes, yes, Dad. He wouldn't say, or uh-huh, or yeah. He would say, yes. So, you know, it was a way of knowing he was listening to me.
yeah, instilling that. Yeah.
You know, and instilling him the focus where if an adult or he was being talked to by a coach or by somebody, a relationship, whatever, the anchor of yes is more important than acknowledging with a nod or a uh-huh. because when you're saying nodding or saying you're not totally focused. You're kind of passing it off.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Yeah, they're good.
So what is it that keeps you motivated to keep training?
Master Carlos, for one. It's funny when I see Carlos Gracie Sr. On that wall, and knowing that at 95 years old he was still doing jiu-jitsu, even though it was at a very light level.
Yeah.
I look at that picture and I see Master Carlos, who we get to roll with every once in a while, and I go, I want to, I'm older than Master Carlos, but when I look at his grandfather and his father, I go, I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I got my black belt, I knew that I've got to wait 30 years before I get my red belt. And I got my black belt at 66. So I know that I'm not going to get my red belt till I'm 96. But you know what? I want to be around for that. That's what drives me.
Yeah.
I want to be on the mat in whatever shape or form I can be on the mat training. And my goal is to get my red belt when I'm 96 years old. And, why not?
All right.
Defy the odds, right?
Yeah.
Defy the odds, technology.
You defied them this far. Might as well go on with it.
Why not go for it,
Yeah.
Well, something really incredible to aspire to, because, again, like you said, once you get people for some reason want to retire, like that's the goal for a lot of people, and it's like, what does that mean? Like, is that you're just gonna sit on the couch the rest of your life? And that is not you at all. That is just like the complete opposite end. And so whether it's with you and Mason or with just you by yourself getting and aspiring that, then that'll push you to keep going further and further down the line. And then maybe more people your age will want to start joining jiu-jitsu. And so it's just pivotal, right?
There's people that have joined jiu-jitsu because of me sitting on the bench looking at their kids, me looking over, and I go, so how old are you? Well, I'm 47. Why are you on the mat? Well, I think I'm too old. I go, I'm 72 and I'm still doing it. What's your excuse? And I kind of guilt a couple of people into it, but then I see them on the mat and they've, challenged me now, but it's been fun. But again, that's my responsibility.
Yeah.
I think it's my responsibility to show people it's not about size, and it's certainly not about age, and it's certainly not about overcoming injuries. Okay?
Yeah, clearly.
I've had 2 back surgeries and 2 shoulder surgeries and now a tricep surgery since my jiu-jitsu journey started. And it's not from jiu-jitsu, it's from powerlifting, but it's kept me wanting to be back on the mat. I want to be on the mat.
Yeah.
I want to be on the mat because I want to make a difference. Not only for me, I want to make a difference for me. I want to be able to know that I can still hang to whatever level that is. It's okay, and I'm cool with it. I am totally cool that I understand I'm not the athlete that I used to be, but I'm still the athlete I want to be.
Right.
Oh,
And there's a difference. Okay.
Ooh, I like that one.
Okay. And I choose to be the athlete who will go out and train 4 days a week. We'll spend another 2 days in the gym. And it's kind of like on my birthday. You know what I do for my birthday? I do a minute of cardio for every year I've been born. So when I started this like 10, 15 years ago, and I go, it was a little easier when I was 50 and 55 and 60, but to sit there and do 72 minutes of cardio, all right, and then after that, shower, clean up, and then go to jiu-jitsu at night on your birthday, dude, that's a workout.
Yeah.
Struggle is real.
But that's okay. I'm not telling everybody to make that their goal, but when I'll tell people what my goal is on my birthday, they go, that's really cool. I'm going to start doing something.
Yeah.
Like that. And I go, great. Do something like that. Make yourself special for you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I do it for myself. I don't do it to sit there and make anybody go, oh gosh, Somerman did 72 minutes of cardio on his birthday. I just did it because it's a challenge.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe I'm not doing as many strides on the elliptical as I did when I was 50, but to be on there for 72 minutes nonstop at a level where you're going through a couple of sweatshirts of sweat, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all about the challenge. Like you
It's
said.
the challenge.
Yeah. You got to do something.
It's the challenge.
Yeah.
I love the challenge.
You're already inspiring me too, because I'm only 25. So you're almost 3 times the way I am. And it's like, okay, like it's possible as long as you keep doing something every day, right? That's what it is. And it's all about that slow growth.
Yep.
So I appreciate that already. I had one more question too about, have you taken on any like mentor or mentorees since you've progressed through your jiu-jitsu journey? Like, do you mentor anyone, like whether younger or just
Everybody.
The guys that have been at the academy that I've watched start as white belts, and as they've grown into their blue belt and then their purple belt and then their brown belt, I mentor them. I'll stop them in the middle of sparring and say, well, why are you trying to go for this when you know that this technique was not going to work and that there's something easier to get? And at the same time, I'll mentor them by teaching them little lessons like you take my back and your foot's up there and you're putting your hooks in, and I've developed this kind of heel hook kind of move with my leg and your ankle inside my knee and making you tap out, and you're like,
what happened?
You know, or just, you know, because of my size, I can reach your foot while you have my neck, and I can get a foot lock on you. It's the ability to. I mentor all the time, and even you know, Aubrey crossing his feet on me, like, dude, why are you crossing your feet? You know, I'm going to sit there and get you in a foot lock. You know, don't do that. Or, you know, body triangle. You know, I tapped him with a body triangle because he gave it to me. Well, if you're going to give me something, I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
You know, why not? It's there. And that's what jiu-jitsu is.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to actually hand something to you. It's hard not to take it.
Very true.
And so mentoring, I guess is to Clinton's point, I'm mentoring people when I'm on the mat.
Yeah.
Because they again, maybe from a position of agility that they're going to get side control on me, or they're going to mount me, or they're going to take my back and they're going to score more points than me. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But what happened in 6 minutes that you didn't tap me that you had opportunities to make me go, okay,
And let go. Yeah.
and let go. That's rare, and I'm you know, I mean, my toughest guys are like Juan Montenegro, who's a red belt in judo and a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's a monster on the mat. You know, Johnny Anderson, who's 16 years old, who went against a black belt, only lost by a rest decision when he probably should have won, okay, to somebody who was, you know, 15 years his senior, to go with guys like that and know that he's going to go inverted on you. And you know, I can defend inverted because Budo Jake taught me how to defend the inverted when somebody goes inverted on you, you know, and you grab that foot and hold it down and they're not letting them up. And then they end up in the same position that you started out in. You know, that's the mentoring part of the sport, where you're showing them things that they need to learn to avoid that happening to them in the future with somebody that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That won't take it easy on you, or like won't give that guidance.
No,
Yeah.
I don't want any, you know what? Don't take it easy.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, like when Philippe put me up against Louis Villarreal,
Yeah.
first time I'm like, he's a black belt, 250 pounds. It's like, okay, Philippe thinks I can go with this guy. I'm going to go with him. And sure enough, you know, you get through 6 minutes of, hard work because when you're going against a bigger guy and you're smaller, you got to really be agile and you got to really move. It's harder to go against a real high level belt that's heavy, that's bigger than somebody that's faster, stronger, and younger, because you know that that big guy has the ability to do something to you that the other guys probably don't.
Right. They have
You know,
strength, too.
and you go with Louis Villarreal, the first thing he's going for is your feet. He wants your feet, so you stay away from your feet. You know, and I've had some of my most fun matches with the bigger guys. You know, and I remember going against the Hasfera.
Yeah.
You know, not only this is like 3 months ago, and we went for 6 minutes, and I tapped him 3 times, and he was like, "Dude, what did you do?" You know, and it's like, you gave it to me, I'm going to take it. You know, and again, you know, the guys don't take it easy on me, and I don't want them to.
No.
I want all of you, you know, go 100% because I'm going to go 100%, and I'm okay with whatever the outcome's going to be. I accept it. You go with you, and I've tapped 3 times. Okay, I tapped 3 times. Well, I'll learn from
You
it.
learn. Yeah, exactly. So
What's one piece of advice you would give somebody that's wanting to start a jiu-jitsu journey?
I think it's from what I said in my video. It's take your time, go at your own pace, and don't stop training. Don't give up. We've all that have been in jiu-jitsu for more than 10 years have seen guys get on the mat, big, strong, young, older, middle-aged, whatever, and they start out and they're there for a month, maybe 2 months, and then all of a sudden 3-4 months down the road, you don't see them anymore. When the challenge that's before them is really waiting for them to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like what I do in mortgage banking. You know, you know, every Friday, what are you going to get from me? What are you going to get from me every Friday?
The text.
A text. I'm available. All right. You and 36 other realtors always get a text from me every Friday. There's just things that I will do that separate myself from everybody else.
right.
Okay. And you've got to have the persistence, the desire, and the perseverance to be in a sport that isn't really about strength and speed. It's about technique and attitude.
100%.
Okay. Because if you have a bad attitude because somebody tapped you and you're like, you know, you're not helping yourself out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long day.
It's going to be a long day because the next guy's going to do it to you too. And then the next guy. And you might as well realize, you know what? I got to have a better attitude about the outcome of what happened in 6 minutes versus having a crappy attitude and you know, walking away or sitting on the bench and going, I'm done for the day because I don't want to get tapped out anymore. I can't tell you how many times I got tapped out in my first 5-6 years. That was like, oh, I can't believe I'm opening.
You're still going back.
Giving this up, you know, but then you start learning. You know, you again you know where your lines of defense are at. You develop that technique to defend, and all of a sudden the taps become fewer. The conditioning becomes better. The knowledge becomes stronger. You're more intellectual, and you're not afraid to get on the mat with anybody and see what happens. It's okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So speaking of, you went into the lending. What we wanted to get to more into the, you know, you're a professional black belt mortgage lender as well. We've done some loans together and partnered up on some deals to help out with our training partners. How is it that you feel like you can assist your training partners kind of differently when they need help with real estate? I mean, I know the answer to this, but you tell them.
My knowledge.
100%.
My knowledge and how to take your W-2s, tax returns, bank statements, check stubs, and your credit and evaluate it and know which direction I can take you in and how I can make you feel good about basically what we call the American dream, owning a home.
Yeah.
Philippe calls me a red belt.
Very much.
And I've been fortunate enough to do loans for some pretty, I guess, prestigious, famous, or well-known MMA fighters,
Yeah.
as well as a number of the people that I've known on the mats at Gracie Barra, and in the referrals. I mean, even Charles Gracie,
Yeah.
who's up in Northern California, who owns all of his Charles Gracie academies. I mean, I've done loans for him, his family, his friends, his friends' friends. So it's not only the Gracie down here, it's the other Gracie up there.
Yeah.
And they all know that if you want to own a home, you want to spend time with Steve. And Steve will sit there and he'll show you what you can do. And then I give him what I call the jiu-jitsu discount, where they're not paying as much in rate or fees as maybe other people, and I can pass that off to them because I choose to.
Yeah.
And there's a way that I can legally, and it makes me feel good that I did the right thing for the right reasons. Yeah, maybe I'm not making as much. That's okay. For me, and Mimi would tell you, we don't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we could retire today and live to 100, and there'll be some money left over. Okay, but I choose to work because I want to be relevant. I want to be able to help people with my experiences and the knowledge that I have, because the knowledge that I have is, at least from a perspective of mortgage banking and lending, there's not a lot of people out there that are my age doing lending with the knowledge base that I've had over the 38 years I've been a lender.
No.
And the cycles that I've experienced, the ups and downs. I mean, it's no secret that in 2006, when I was at American Home Mortgage and the fifth largest lender in the world went bankrupt, and I'm going to say it, I lost $2 million in one day.
Wow.
I lost everything. And I got from ground zero. Mimi and I said, you know what? Let's just start from scratch and build it up all over again. And here we are 14 years later, and guess what?
You're still
We
here.
built it up all over again. So again, it comes to the mentality of don't tell me what I can't do. And maybe there's things I can't do, but I'm going to do them to the best of my ability. And when it comes to lending, it's not about the commission. It's about the opportunity to put somebody into a home and accomplish what their goals and dreams are. And if it's a refinance, it's because the rates went down, or they need cash out to sit there and consolidate debt. And I'm helping them, or I'm doing a loan right now where the guy, his wife moved to Michigan. The house is available for him to occupy again. He moved back into the house, but he needs to pay her off on an agreement that he made with her. And I'm doing a cash out refi so he can give her the money and they can still be friends.
Cool.
I love the opportunity of helping people. I am a servant to my communities. I'm a servant to my people in my jiu-jitsu family. I'm a servant. That's fine. You want to call me a servant? Well, how would you call yourself a servant? I mean, isn't it degrading? I go, no.
Yeah.
Not in
To
what
me,
we
that's
do.
the biggest compliment.
That's the biggest compliment
you can
I am
give
a
is
servant
being
to
a
the
servant.
communities that I take care of,
100%.
that I surround, the people, the realtors that I work with. I'm their servant. That's okay, because to serve is to accomplish, and to accomplish is to gratify, and to gratify goes to number 2 from positive attitude is gratitude.
100%.
And that's what I'm grateful for, So I've had 2 great careers. Actually 3. I've had my jiu-jitsu career. I've had my powerlifting career. I've had my work career. And they've all coincided and helped me grow as an individual from the age of 18 to here I am at 72. And I'm still, as I tell people, and this is another thing that I would leave with you or say, there's people, and you know this, there's a sign over my head that says what? Under construction. You have to have the ability to change. When you decide that you aren't going to change, guess what? You're going to start dying.
Failure.
And you're going to fail. So you have to be open to change. So I wake up every day. There's a sign over my head that says under construction. I've lived that for the last 30 years. When I heard it the first time, I go, I really want to live my life like that, under construction. Have the ability to change. That's all it means. Because then you are a better person for you. You're doing things for the right reasons. You're serving the purposes of individuals, and whether it be in my powerlifting career when I was at the gym, my work career as a mortgage lender, and being a branch manager, or being the head of products and programs, or being on the mats in jiu-jitsu. It all ties itself together.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a cool thing.
What are the most common mistakes you see from buyers during the lending process?
They go out and look at homes that they can't qualify for.
It's fun to do that though.
All right. And then you have to bring them down to the reality of what they can qualify for.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one.
And then the other thing that I don't want to necessarily call it a mistake. Well, actually, it is a mistake, is to know that you're buying a house, and before you finish buying that house, you go on a shopping spree and you spend money on the things that you shouldn't be spending on, because they don't know that the credit report is going to be run 10 days before you close. And if there's more debt, you can unqualify yourself for your loan.
Oh, wow.
So the 10-day look back that goes on before you close is something that almost every lender does. So the one thing that you must always tell people is, I don't want to see you charge anything on your credit cards. Don't buy anything other than gas and the normal things that you buy. If you want to sit there and look at furniture or paint, or you want to decorate this or that, or you want to get a carpet bid, or you want to get a roof bid, or you want to sit there and build a pool,
Do it after.
do it after. Get into your house, and then you can do whatever you want once you're in your house. But I think those are the two biggest mistakes people make, because they look at what they can't have, and then it gives them a feeling of not being satisfied. And to me, and you know it, I always tell them, don't ever take a borrower out and show them homes without getting them pre-approved.
It's just not worth it.
Let us pre-approve them. Then with that pre-approval letter, show them a home. And if they want a pre-approval letter because they're going to make an offer and the house is $10,000 more, but they can qualify for that, fine. But I only put a pre-approval letter in for the amount that the offer is being placed at, and I can always adjust it, because I never want to let the listing agent and the seller know you qualify for $30,000-$40,000 more than what the letter says. Because guess what they're going to do?
Leverage.
Leverage it and counter back with a higher sales price, because they know you can qualify for more.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to buy a house for $1.2 million? Great. Here's a letter for $1.2 million. Oh, it came back at $1,235,000. Okay. Can you qualify for the other $35,000? Yeah. Okay. So here's your letter for $1,235,000.
Yeah.
And you're still qualified.
Right.
But I never, or it's a $400,000 condo. I don't care where it is or what it is, but you'll only get a pre-approval letter from me for what you can qualify for. And if I have to change it, I'll change it. I'll let you know what your upper levels are, so that you know where you can look and how you can look. And yeah, maybe I can push it a little bit, and I keep a little bit in my back pocket in case you really see that dream home and, hey, Steve, can we really get into this house? And I go, well, yeah, I can figure it out. And if you do this and this and this, I'll do that, and go ahead and put the offer in on it. Whether it be paying off a bill, getting a little gift from mom and dad, knowing that you're going to get a raise, and I can use that because it's going to be applicable 60 days before your first payment. And the things that other lenders don't know that I do know of how to sit there and get through the underwriting trials and tribulations from a buyer's perspective and get you into that house where other people can't. And there's been a lot of times over 38 years where, well, gee, Steve, you're qualifying me for $60,000 more than that guy. Why? Well, I can't speak for that, what that guy does. I can only tell you what I know I can do. And because I was referred by your realtor to work with you, if I'm telling you you can qualify for $60,000 more than what that other person said, it's because you can. And just accept that and go buy a house.
I can speak to testimony, like I said, black belt when it comes to the lending side of it. What's the best way if somebody wants to get in contact with you? And we'll put it down in the comments for people. What's the best way to get in contact with you for somebody that's wanting to do real estate? We can handle it as the agent. You can handle the lending. We'll drop our information, but what's the best way to get in touch with you personally?
Call me on my cell phone, text me on my cell phone, 949-279-6051. Email me, SSOMERMAN@puremg.net, or find me on Facebook and message me.
No doubt.
Because I'm on Facebook all the time. I'm on Instagram all the time, sharing my life with my wife, sharing my jiu-jitsu journey on a weekly basis when I'm on the mats and even when I'm not. Okay. So, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Threads. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me through email. You can find me by a phone call.
We'll put all of those.
I am not hard to find.
We'll put all of those links down below. And we know you got a lot of stuff going on, so we'll close it out with this last question. This one's kind of deep if you need to take a second, think about it. If today was your last day, what do you want Steve Somerman to be remembered for?
He made a difference in my life. He wasn't selfish. He was always there when I needed him. I could always rely on him. And he's made me a better person in knowing him.
Wow. Well, I can speak to testament, like I said before, to all of those things. I can't begin to put into words how appreciative I am for you, the countless conversations that we've had, the training, the jiu-jitsu side of it, the personal side of it, everything that I've had going on. I've always been there for you, or you've been there for me. I'm there for you as well. I can't put into words how grateful I am, but you've truly helped change my life. And I'm forever grateful and in debt to you for that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And
conversely, you guys have changed my life too, because, you're always giving me challenges to learn from. And I appreciate that. I like that. It makes me smile.
I appreciate you.
Thank you for sharing your story.
I love you too, brother.
Love you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're going to have the links down below. Thank you so much, Steve, for coming on. We are signing off, and we appreciate you guys.